possessed by fear. I'm clutching you so tight, afraid to lose. I retreat more each night. Where is my voice? I've muted myself, and in my shyness, it's you I repel. I will find my way to express my voice. I must find my way to ignite my spark. Find my way to me so we can be we. Find my way. The fractures between us rise into view. I cling to the scraps of the care that falls through. Where is my strength? I've crumbled apart, hiding from the truth. I've shattered my heart, but I will find my way to regain my strength. I must find my way to restore my will. Find a way to me so we can be we. Find my way. Here is this moment to take a chance to go on alone or grow and advance. I will find my way to express my voice. I must find my way to ignite my spark. Find my way to me so we can be we. Find my way. I will find my way to regain my strength. I must find my way to restore my will. Find my way to me so we can be we. Find my way. Find my way. I'll find my way.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you for finding your way to Sunday Live with me. That is Caleb, where every week I bring you some new artists into your life, and we talk about their work and show you some videos and some little extras in the after hour. So stick around for that as well. I hope everybody's doing well. It is a fantastically gorgeous day here in Seattle. And I was out on the back patio where we have a nice swing overlooking a creek and woods, and just on Thursday I took off my thermals. So my body's like happy. The wife, she's a little like it's a little too hot now, but I'm soaking it up. It won't last long. Well, it won't last forever. It's actually lasting pretty long. It was sunny all last week. It's going to be sunny all this week, and probably only get back down into the 50s on Saturday and start raining again. And then we'll have another little spring time, but we're having a little mini summer right now, which is very cool. That got me out on my bicycle. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff's happening. So I hope you're doing all well out there, staying cool, staying warm, and just treating yourself good. So let's see what's going on with Joe down in California. Hey Joe, you out there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Hello. How the heck are you?
Very well. I'm swimming in a sea of endorphins and chocolate milkshake from a very long bicycle ride along the seaside. uh, with temperatures ever so slightly cooler than yours, but only because of the sea breeze. So I'm doing rather well.
Nice, nice. I'm doing well. Dun dun dun, I've done it. I've got my second shot. Moderna is coursing through my veins.
You
So,
got to watch that. Those gamma rays will turn you into the Hulk. So you just be advised.
well, they monitored me for about a half hour when I didn't grow a third eye. You know, they're like, you can go. So we'll see. It seems like for most people, it's between 12 and 24 hours. However, the body reacts during that period of whether or not you sail on through it or you have a little bit of misery before you get to the cure.
Hmm. I might have to take up drinking shortly after my first shot. Except I am not one to mix my drinks, so I'll just have to bear it out.
Nice. Well, I'm on root beer today. I'm just hydrating. We finished the Balanced Breakfast conference last night, and my panel was awesome. We'll get a repost out there, folks. If you haven't heard about Balanced Breakfast, I've been raving about them on this show all year. Go check them out. If you make music, you're a singer songwriter, if you're a music lawyer, or marketer, etc. It's a fantastic community to be a part of, and so I would get a little nervous presenting. So I definitely was 3 beers in by time my panel arrived. So today I'm trying to be, cold turkey. I faced the second shot with bravery. I always look away, and I always take a deep breath. I was told that you don't feel pain if you're out breathing. So I just choose to believe that. So that works for me.
I'd probably have to hold my nose before I take my shot.
Okay. It used to be I would sing. Like if I go for like a blood draw for tests and stuff like that, I said, do you mind if I sing?
Before your shot.
Yes. So I'll be like, da 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 da, and they're like, you can go now. You can shut up now, please.
Well, if my shot hurts, I'm going to sound like Aretha Franklin because the heavens are going to know about it.
Nice.
I'm a lot of things. Brave is not one of them.
Show me some respect. All right. Well, it's good to know that it's not just me. I know that this little habit I had. I went in for a routine diagnostic thing where they had to put me under, and this was, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And I mentioned that I like to sing, and they said, "Oh, sing us something." Trying to figure it, we'll knock him out fast. When I came back to, apparently I kept singing after I got knocked out, and they had to shut me up.
So they gave you shot and chloroform?
Apparently, because I came back out and I said, "Hey, are you okay?" Yeah, I said, "I'm fine. Hope you didn't mind my singing with the counter." She goes, "No, you kept going, and you were singing some sort of Prince song." I'm like, "Okay."
You got to watch that. You might get sued.
Yeah. Oh, right. Unconscious copyright infringement.
Yeah.
And for folks that don't recognize that reference, that was what George Harrison faced with My Sweet Lord. He was convicted of unconscious copyright infringement for that song. The court case said that he had copied He's So Fine by the Shangri-Las, and that case would be thrown out these days.
And it was done unconsciously. Moral of the story is there's no the king.
Yeah. Jeez. A little technology note. Speaking of melodies and copyright and whatnot, it's been over a year since these two guys did a computer program that would write every melody possible. Because we have the computing power to just chunk that out. There's only 12 notes on the scale, so it's just a variations of rhythm and whatnot. And so technically, they have written every song that ever will be written. or at
Really?
least the computer did.
So there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, so I think copyright has a good purpose, and the idea of it is so the artist gets paid in their lifetime for their work, and that's secured. But I think Disney, extending copyright for the sake of the corporation is ridiculous. I think at that point you've stretched beyond what corporations were supposed to be and what copyright was supposed to be. But that's my 2 cents. Say, we have a guest this week, so I'm gonna do. I need to ask her to unmute, and then I'm gonna do a little intro here. So our guest this week is Ren Geisick. Got it right. Fans of the show will know that I struggle with every guest name every week, but I'm proud. I think I got this one. Ren Geisick is a singer, songwriter, and performer, and we're very happy to have her on the show this week. So, Ren, are you out there?
I'm here.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good.
Sounds like it's a beautiful day there in Seattle.
It is. It has been a gorgeous week, and I am not kidding when I talk about that. I've been living in thermal underwear for 6 months.
I know it can get really cold there in Seattle for sure.
Yeah, and it'll get up to maybe mid-50s, and it'll drop back down into mid-30s. There's still snow. I mean, we can go 2 blocks and look at the hills in the distance, and they're all covered in snow. About an hour away, so that wind will still cool things down. So it's not too bad. But yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
So
nice.
where are you calling in from?
I'm in California in the South Bay. I'm on my deck, and the wind is starting to pick up, which is annoying. And the sun is starting to get into a bad, like it's going to go below the umbrella, and then I'm going to be blinded.
Oh,
We'll adjust. It's much better for me to be outdoors than indoors, because then indoors my air conditioner is really loud. So yeah, can't turn that off either. Don't want to kill the cat. I live in a barn. It's very hot. So, out on the deck today in beautiful weather down here in good old Los Gatos.
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so we were talking pre-show about a very dramatic thing that's happened in your life very recently that plays into this whole, heat of summer coming, right?
Yeah. I chopped all my hair off. I had really long hair, and it's gone now, and they feel free. I'm happy. It was a good change.
And you've never cut your hair off in your life?
Not like this, not this short. I've done like a bob before, but
Okay.
if you cut your hair in a bob, then it's easy to grow it out. This is going to be a little harder to grow it out. It will grow out if I want it to, but yeah, I've always just been curious about having really short hair, and I just decided to go for it. Now is as good a time as any. The other little tidbit is that my hairdresser, who had kind of retired during COVID, she came back all of a sudden. Like I thought she was gone forever, and she came back. And so then it was like an even better time to do it, because I can go to someone that I trust and that I know well, who knows my hair well, to have her cut it for me. And yeah, so it were lots of factors.
Nice. Well, at least you didn't have to go through the traumatic experience with a stranger.
Yes. It was funny, because she's like, I normally would never try to convince anybody to do it, but you seem like you really want to do it, and all your reasons for doing it are really good. She's like, you should just do it, which is surprising, because I can imagine that for hairdressers, it's really tough to cut someone's hair short and then have them hate it and be upset, and the whole drama that could go with that. So,
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, they're kind of on the hook.
yeah.
So
yeah.
the hairdresser / therapist.
Yeah, it can be tough. I feel like I need to. Well, during the video, I'll like switch around to the other side of the table, and maybe
Okay.
we can get better lighting situation.
After
I don't know.
each video, it'll be Ren appears
I'll
in a
change to a
different.
different part of the table.
Like it. I like it. Well, let's play one of your tracks here for folks to get a sense of what you're all about and
Yeah.
what your music's like. And this is called I Still Pay.
Hey there, my name's Ren, and this is my Gems in the Rough 2021 contest submission. This song's called I Still Pay. It's about drinking. A night of mixing spirits, both deadly and divine. You charm me and disarm me, then finish with the wine. I wake up in the morning, a cloud above my head. Last night the world was sweet, but now I can't get out of bed. I can't drink like I used to. It gets worse for me each day. 'Cause even when you're buying, I still pay. I still pay. I still pay. Another night of drinking, but the taste isn't so sweet. The memories of my mornings are vivid and complete. I still like to have fun, doesn't every fool I know. But it's getting hard to see the light when this devil keeps me low. 'Cause I can't drink, oh, like I used to. It gets worse for me each day. 'Cause even when you're buying, I still pay. I still pay. I still pay. I still pay. I got other things that harm me, so it's best to stay away. I'll find another demon that tries to wreck my day. There's danger in the breakthrough and fear in the past. There's planet that could hold me back. I don't need a second glass. Well, I can't drink, oh, like I used to. It gets worse for me each day. I can't lie, it's a problem getting older every day. 'Cause even though I love it, I still pay. 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 I still pay.
That was I Still Pay by Rin Geisick. I like the hair. I just got to see you with the long hair. I'm like, okay, long hair's fine, but I think this has really got it's got a sassy style, and your singing and presentation is sassy. So I think it's a good combo mambo.
Well, I appreciate that. I think, you know, I have a feeling that if anybody didn't like it, they wouldn't tell me, and that's just fine with me.
Compliments or silence, folks.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's a good policy. I like that.
Yeah.
And I love the song. Yeah, I don't know if that's from.
relatable.
Yeah, it's relatable.
Yeah.
I was saying to Joe with the Balanced Breakfast conference, leading up to my panel, I get a little nervous. I'm like having one beer. I'm now in my second beer, and I think, I need to, pace myself here. I think back, 10 years ago, I was going to karaoke bars having gin martinis, and I can't imagine anymore.
I know. It's really, it's like, yeah. If I have more than 2 drinks, I have a problem. I have a headache. I don't feel good. So yeah, that's the funny song. The funny thing is, I was watching that on my phone as you were playing it, and the captions from like Facebook are so wrong. And I was like, oh man. At first I was like, did Caleb put these captions? Because these are incorrect. And then I was like, no, 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 this is just what Facebook does. But yeah, it's like, that was funny. Oh, well, whatever. They can't understand my jazzy style there.
You have the alternate mix now available.
Yeah.
Back when they were doing what was that, the Sims game was really popular, a bunch of big bands actually had their songs redone as promos in the language that the people spoke in this game called Simlish. That was this
Oh,
garbled thing, but was all the rage.
geez.
So you never know. Facebookish
Might be
translation
a thing.
might
Who
be a
knows?
thing. You might build a whole new audience.
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. It's funny, but whatever. I like that song. It makes me happy. I haven't gotten to record a real version yet, like in the studio or anything. I did that. The version that you played, I did that for a little competition thing a few weeks back for this YouTube channel called Gems on VHS. And I just decided to do it. You know, I recorded it with the microphone I'm talking to you on right now.
Wow,
It was
sounded great.
very low budget. No budget. Yeah,
Low budget doesn't mean low quality. These are the resources we have.
exactly. Yeah, you just gotta do what you can. It was good.
Well, I think it came out well. The room and maybe the curtains behind it and whatnot
Yeah.
done pretty good. Tim will have to say though, because he is the man with the golden ears. So, Tim,
It was awesome.
let Ren know how I Still Pay sounded and if it was okay.
Tim, well, no, Caleb, you forgot um my code of conduct. Compliments or nothing.
Compliments or nothing. Okay. Hey, Tim,
Or I mean,
keep it inside.
I'll take constructive criticism, but really, meh, it's okay. It's already out there.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's in the chat here, and he says Ren is a kick-ass producer.
Ah,
So
thanks, Tim.
he
He's the one who told me to use OBS on my live streams. Because I wasn't using OBS and I was live streaming every day while I was learning ukulele. And then Tim gave me the input of OBS, and then I kind of took it from there, and I got all creative with everything. But if I hadn't gotten that advice, I might have just been kind of struggling for a lot longer. So I was glad he had the advice for me.
Well, I can personally attest that Tim told me that, and I ignored him and struggled and suffered. And at one point, he said, "Are you going to listen to my advice yet?" Because I thought I knew
There
better,
you go.
and I got OBS, and yeah.
Yeah.
The rest
OBS
is
is
history.
really good, and it's free, which is really cool. So
So during COVID, how have so you're using OBS, and folks, OBS is like it's called Open Broadcast System, I think, and it allows you to do the kind of layout screens you have here, you see here with Ren and I, with some backgrounds, and to do transitions between scenes. It's kind of like a TV production studio in your laptop, and it is free and available for people to download and do shows. So a lot of us artists during lockdown have turned to OBS and Zoom for connecting and reaching out to fans. How has that been for you?
oh, it's been great. It's been great. I was really consistent. Well, when the lockdown first happened, I had just gotten a ukulele, and I kind of knew a little bit on ukulele, but I wasn't like proficient or anything. And so I started doing live streams playing ukulele every day from my personal channel. I did it for a whole month. And then and then some people asked me to actually do like my own live stream by myself, this was all like a new thing for me because I was consider myself a singer. I wrote songs, I wrote them on piano, but I wasn't a good enough player to play them and sing. So I would always have a band and sort of be a band leader, right? And I was just singing. I was never playing an instrument as well. So I started learning the ukulele. I got okay at that. I could play a lot of my songs on the ukulele, and then now I've been focusing a lot of my time and attention on the guitar. So I'm learning the guitar, and yeah, I feel like that's the silver lining of this time has been the time to sort of learn some new instruments and be able to accompany myself. So I think it's been, for me, that's been really positive. Yeah.
Nice, and that's huge to be able to accompany yourself. I've struggled with that same thing, and I use a lot of keyboards and drum machines and stuff in my pieces. And if I'm going to do a piece that's, say, acoustic guitar, I'm, Tim, what are you doing this week? So and so, what are you doing this week? Hey, could you back me up on keyboard? So it's a huge step for an artist to be able to sing and play at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like it's been cool. It's been nice. Feels good. Feels like I'm able to communicate with my bandmates a little bit easier. I always felt like I could communicate with them because I do have like a musical. I studied music in college and stuff, and so I have that background. But just being able to show them how it goes rather than having to just describe how the song is and have it have the chart, so I can actually show them the chart, which is cool. So it's been great. That's been nice.
That's an aspect to I hadn't thought about. It is you not only can you pick up the ukulele and walk downtown Las Gatas and play a little session on the street in front of a coffee shop and whatnot, but now you've built a skill where you've added a language that you can communicate to other musicians about. You can pick up the ukulele and go, guys, this is how it goes.
Right. I mean, ukulele not as much as good. Ukulele always sounds a certain way, so it's harder to describe feels on ukulele. But with guitar, I feel like I can give from the strum pattern or whatever. I can kind of give the feel, and they understand what I'm going for more than ukulele. Although ukulele is fun to play and fun to play with a band or with whoever, it's nice. Yeah, it's been cool. It's been really cool. Nice learning experience.
Awesome. Well, let's play another track here.
Okay.
And we're going to play Last Train Home.
She'd do was no one's guess. She tried her luck, but her luck was blind, and left her there with a wounded mind. She caught the last train home. She caught the last train home. She caught the last. Man said, I'll set you free if you take my hand. He caught the last train home. He caught the last train home. He caught the last train home. John Dryden. William Moore. Danny Gers on the bass. Jim Cassis on drums. Taylor Ray. And Marissa Maroka. My name is Ren Geisick. Thank you all so much. We did not plan anything else. Have a great night.
That was Last Train Home.
Yeah.
Watching that, I'm like, okay, opening title says singer, songwriter, performer. So Tim says producer. You mention being a band leader.
Yeah.
Now you've learned an instrument, so now you're also a musician.
Yeah.
How
Well, I was
do-
a musician before, I should tell you.
Oh,
Singers
okay.
are musicians.
So how do
Singers are musicians.
how do all those work together?
I mean, it's best to have more skills than less. I should also, reiterate and mention, it says at the beginning of that video, but Last Train Home was written by my pianist, John Dryden. So that's one of his that we do. How does it all work together? I guess it's best. Yeah, it's just building them one upon the other. Try to catch them all. I've just been, I've been working as a musician for over 10 years now. And, I studied music in college and stuff. So you just got to keep on getting better. And I think as a band leader, it's really important to understand your craft and understand how to lead a band and how to do all the things so that you can have a successful performance.
So where did you study and what did you study?
I studied jazz vocal performance at Cal State Long Beach. So jazz vocal performance with Christine Guter, and I then over the years figured out that I was a country singer, kind of. So, yeah, I don't know. I've crossed lots of genres.
I originally put jazz singer on the announcement today, and then I went back and listened to the episode. And I'm like, well, she's a country singer, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but I can hear the jazz singer in there. So I was curious.
Yeah,
I
a lot of people can still. Yeah.
I studied jazz vocals at San Jose State, so.
Oh, you studied jazz vocals at San Jose State?
Yeah, and
Oh.
along with other things. That's why I was there so long. So, yeah, clinical psychology and recording studio production became the main focus, but I also sung in the choir, studied under some jazz stuff. I was asked to continue on to study jazz stuff. I'm like, well, but I've already have this psych degree. Okay, I need to get out of here. And I did jazz choir in high school. So, I had my standards book that I, knew, and tons of choral work. And I did more stuff like that. And then at home, experimental stuff. And it was only really in the 90s that I started doing my own songwriting style.
Right. Yeah. It took me some time to start songwriting as well. I did a lot of reharmonizations and a lot of straight ahead jazz for a long time. And what eventually happened was I realized the songs I was writing were all country songs because I grew up listening to country music. So it was like, well, I mean, there's always going to be a jazz influence in my singing for sure. And soul music. I really love soul music. So it's like Americana. I like the banner of Americana because Americana is like, in my mind, it's a mix of jazz, blues, soul, and country. All of the things. And that's basically what I like to sing. So it's perfect.
I totally hear that. And in that last piece, you had a little dash of Janis Joplin in there. Nothing over the top, but just that letting loose Very nice.
Yeah.
And again, that
I-
I think that comes from your jazz background. Like you really know what you can push and what you need to work
yeah.
around to make the performance solid.
I gotta say, I think that really pushing it high, the high singing stuff, isn't necessarily jazz, because in jazz, it's very much about, especially solo jazz, it's about the conversational style. So it's not very, it's not super flashy all the time, or at least usually it's not. It's like more about, it's about lyrics. It's about this conversational style that's like sort of easy to sing, but if you do it right, it's very effective. A lot of times jazz singers don't do the big like crazy stuff. I think I learned that kind of singing when I worked on the cruise ship, and I was doing like rock and roll and a lot of different things. My specialty on the cruise ship was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. So I definitely got that the yelling down when I was working on the ship. I don't know. At some point you have to let it out.
Uh, I'm a little afraid of doing that. My upper register has really been opening up more and more as I get older,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to go do something. I want to go play around up there, but I'm a little nervous about it.
You just gotta practice. Just practice. See what you can do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that practice
Practice at home.
thing.
Practice in the mirror.
Do you actually record your? Did well at this point probably not, but do you actually record your performance to hear what it sounds like outside the head? You know, this is the thing a lot of folks talk about. It's
Oh,
like how we sound inside our head versus how we sound outside our head.
um, I did when I was in school, for sure. But I haven't. I mean, I listen to a lot of my performances because I get them video recorded and I need to get them out into the world. Like that last train home, that was from a performance at Art Boutique. So I had that recorded. So I listen to things, but I kind of know what I sound like. Um, I don't know. I'm comfortable in like my singing. I know when it's good. I know when it's bad. I can be very critical,
What?
very critical. But that's sort of part of it. You have to fine tune it, tweak it. I can tell when I'm like just a little off. So, you know, pushing it, working it out.
So there's a second rule on your conditions: compliments or silence, and then rule two, unless it's from red.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you expect other people, if you don't want other people to give you, well, okay. I want feedback from a teacher. I want feedback from like other singers that I like I'm close with and you know like that we're like on the same wavelength. I'm cool with that. But I'm most critical on myself. So, but you know, it's so interesting. You get as like a singer in music, you always get lots of interesting feedback. When I started doing more country stuff and kind of moving away from straight ahead jazz, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and just were like, "Oh, but I just love it when you do jazz. Like, why won't you just do jazz? Could you just do jazz, please?" And I was like, "Well, sorry." Like that's you know, I don't want to disappoint you, but it's not, you know, I'm only going to do the things that work for me and that feel right to me, and I hope you like it. Whatever it is. So, yeah,
I
that's
had
just how it goes.
I had a great experience where towards the end of his life, I got to see John Cage do a performance in San Francisco, and it was a 20-minute performance of a piece he had done in Europe that lasted like 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And he had cut it down for an American art school. This was at an art school. It wasn't like general public. And it was art school performance. He had whittled down the concept and did a 30-minute performance of this concept. And he, at the time, had been using like I Ching and probability to generate these scores where out would come the score based on the exercise, and there would be different blocks of time, different lengths, and different vocal sounds that occurred at those given points. So it was about 30
Uh-huh.
minutes of a lot of and
Yeah.
you know, and at the end of 30 minutes there was a Q&A for a half hour, and someone said to him, well, do you care if people like your music? And he just reached over to the microphone and said, that's not my problem.
Yeah. Well, and obviously that's how he feels because there's plenty of people who don't like his music. um,
And his
you
point
know,
was,
there's this,
look, this school invited me to be here.
right.
This is what I do. I'm well known for what I do, and you all decided to show up to see me. So,
Yeah.
I can't. That's what I can do. I'm a 70-year-old or however old man that he was at that time, and I've been doing experimental music for years. And you all showed up to an
Mm.
experimental music performance. So and I think that goes all the way into pop, where you say, yeah, you either like what I'm doing or you don't.
Change the channel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't watch. If you don't like it, don't watch. It's all good. I
Yeah,
do
and
want
there's
people to like it.
thousands of channels these days, right?
I mean, I do want people to like it, but if it's not their taste, that's okay. There's plenty of things that are not my taste that I don't really prefer. And actually, I have a funny story about John Cage because this is my mom. My mom was she was like doing community college or something like back in the day, like in the 70s, I think. And she she had this music class and like a music appreciation class, and they had to go to like a John Cage concert. And at the end, afterwards, the next day, the teacher was like, okay, did everybody like, or what did you think about it? Did you like it? And everyone in the class was like, oh, we loved it. It was so cool. Thought it was so great. And my mom was like, I hated it. That was terrible. It was nonsense. And I think she got an A in the class because she was honest.
Nice. That's a good teacher.
Yeah. Because, it's not everybody's taste. And that's not my taste. I certainly don't like that kind of thing. So, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah.
not to say that
Yeah.
they shouldn't make the art. They can make whatever art they want to make. And it's just depends on taste, what you like or don't like.
Exactly. And we have, let's see, about 100 and, well, I'd say about 200 years of popular music and art music to pick from, just as a starter, just as a recent cornucopia of sounds. And so, yeah, it's all out there, and especially with 20th century music, it was all about experimentation and breaking the rules. And so there's this whole body of work that you can just go and explore and pick from. It's like, I like a little bit of that, I like a little bit of that. So with your work, what I hear you saying is, yes, I've been influenced, yes, I studied jazz, I'm aware of this stuff, but I've chosen a certain path around country music. Do you see it that way? Or is it just,
No,
I'm Ren and I
don't.
do Ren stuff?
Yeah, I'm Ren and I do Ren stuff.
Okay.
That's what I do. I mean, I think that my music comes out as country because my voice comes out as country. My songs come out as country generally. So I think that for the everyday listener, it makes sense to just say it's country. But sometimes if you say country, that confuses people too, because what I do isn't today's pop country. It's like a more classic style of country music. That's why I like the banner of Americana, because that's jazz, blues, country, and soul music. All of those things fit under the banner of things Ren does, right? It's like they all fit under my banner. So
Okay.
yeah,
When I introduce you next, you will be Ren, the Americana singer.
there you go.
So, problem solved. I agree that you are an Americana singer, and I hear all those elements. I grew up, mainly my mom listened to country and old school country, like,
Yeah, old school.
Hank
That's it,
Williams,
okay.
Hank
Classic.
Williams Jr., Nada Twang.
Yeah.
So
Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, those are my guys. Patsy Cline, Emmylou Harris, Linda Ronstadt. I've been compared to Linda Ronstadt quite a lot in my life.
I can see that
Yeah.
because she has that bust out quality as well.
I find that with there's a lot of crossover with the old timey and swing music.
Mm-hmm.
The Americana roots, the Americana links, sort of it could be Django Reinhardt, it could be very old timey, or it could be kind of the country-esque swing music, and it's fantastic. There's a serious crossover.
Yeah, totally. That's completely true. It's a jazz, like early jazz music and early country music are very similar.
Even rockabilly, in the doing a lot of swing dancing, Lindy Hop and whatnot. There was a huge,
totally.
huge rockabilly revival, and you had I would go to like big bands shows and doing lots of Lindy Hop one night, and the next night going to a car show in Brisbane where there's a lot of good rockabilly bands, and the crossover is tremendous.
Oh yeah, totally. I agree. It's really, I was talking to my fiance. That word is so weird to me, but my fiance. Anyways, we I was talking to him the other day about this collaboration between, who were the artists? It was like there's this a version of a Willie Nelson song sung by Al Green and Lyle Lovett. So Lyle Lovett's country, Al Green obviously soul. And then the song is a Willie Nelson song, but they like rearranged it and it's got a real groove to it. And I was like, man, there was a time when there was like a lot of cross genre collaboration that was really cool. And I think and what Riley said, my fiance, he said, that's because at that time everyone realized it's all just blues. It's all just the blues.
Absolutely.
And I was like, yeah, that's totally a good point. That's great. Yeah.
The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, exactly. It's all really similar. And especially in the older styles, there's a lot of similarities, and maybe, like in life and in our views on life and everything, we have more in common than we do different, right? There's more things in common than there are differences between us. And same with music in a lot of genres.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's play another track, give folks some a greater sense of your work. This is I Thought I'd Let You Know.
I thought I let you go somewhere down the road. Now it seems you're on my mind, and that's a heavy load. I thought I let you go a million miles ago. Left my dreams in a back door seat on a dusty, vacant road. Used to be that you and me were simply being fools. Let me be, can't set you free. I'm breaking all my rules. I didn't
That was I Thought I Let You Go by Ren Geisick. We're here interviewing Ren on Sunday Live. If you tuned in late, you're going to have to watch the replay on YouTube. We're not going to go back and cover other stuff. I'm just saying, tune in on time. Love the tracks. And I'm sure my mom's very happy that you're on this week's episode because, you know, she showed up to every choral performance when I was starting like fourth grade, all that stuff. She's a country gal, right? Parents were from Oklahoma, all this stuff. And here she is listening to Bach and this and then some experimental stuff. And she still came. And, you know, and especially when we were kids, they're terribly out of tune and all this stuff. And and then I got into experimental music. So I have guests from all sorts of different genres. To me, it's all the same. I used to make these mixtapes and drive people insane in my car because one track would be opera, one would be punk, you know, it was all over. And so she shows up to every single one of these episodes to cheer me on in the episode. And I'm just glad I'm getting to play music that she likes.
I'm glad too. I also have to say that song was written by John Dryden, just so you know, so everyone knows in the world. That is a great tune, and on the solo in there with the pedal steel guitar, that's played by Bobby Black, who is like a legendary pedal steel player. When he was like 13, he got to start playing with Hank Williams. He was like really young.
Wow.
So yeah, he's in his 80s now and not playing as much, but he's just a great dude. So it was really an honor to have Bobby Black on that recording. Yeah. And I gotta say that the music video was my first foray into editing. I hired my buddy Isaiah to film it because he has all the great equipment, and then I edited it together. So, woo!
I, believe it or not, while watching the video this time, I said, I bet Ren edited this. So
Yep.
You're one of these folks like Tam and I who we don't stay in our lane, so to speak. You know, like I'm just a singer, I'm this. And I love that. So
Yeah.
how do you find the time? I'm not finding the time lately.
I mean, the reality, unfortunately, of the music industry as it is that if you don't do it all, if you don't produce, if you don't figure out how to do everything and make the music video, then you will not have a music video because no one's out there helping you out, you know. And you end up having to figure out how to pay for all of it too, because it's not like even though you put music out because you want people to hear it, you don't make money from putting it on streaming, right? You mostly make money from fans being like, I really like what you're doing, and you know, giving you money directly. Making money from streaming is just like impossible. So you're trying to just push it, and so you have to make a music video and you have to edit it yourself because that's just the way it is. And so I edited that video, and then shortly after that I released a Christmas song. That was another one written by John. I released the song called "'Cause It's Christmas," and I threw a huge Christmas party. This was before pre-COVID days. Oh my gosh. I had a huge Christmas party in October, and I filmed it, and then I edited that whole thing together. And then I also found for my other Christmas song that I released that same year, which was the song that I wrote called "Feels Like Christmas," I found a bunch of old footage from like some friends, like family friends. They're like old, 35 millimeter tape that they had digitized, and then like old stuff from when I was a kid, Christmases, and I edited that. So, and then this last year during COVID, I edited together a whole like Christmas show that I produced as like a live stream / video thing, kind of similar to this in a way, except for not really an interview, but just like a live stream with video included. So yeah, I've become an editor a video editor in addition to all the other things. And I'm glad. It's good to learn new stuff, and it helps. It's a benefit in the end. So
And I highly encourage folks. I did not include any of the Christmas special in this episode
yeah,
because of 6 Month of Winter in Seattle. I was like, oh, no, I can't go there. We're just pulling down the Christmas tree yesterday. Beautiful,
what?
realistic. Well, it's artificial. It's 4
Okay.
sections, but it's like high end. My wife loves Christmas, so she'd bought this
Mhm.
high end professional artificial Christmas tree that, like,
Mhm.
you when you look at it, you would think it was not. They even built in like dead pine
Mhm.
needles and stuff into the
Oh.
design and whatnot. But it's been up
Yeah.
for 3 or 4 months, and we're like, okay, it's finally time. Anyhow, so I encourage everybody, look up Ren on YouTube and look at her Christmas show. It's fantastic, and so go find that there.
Yeah.
Uh, I
It was fun.
and I see Tim is asking here. Okay, yes, you've answered him back about the Winter Wonderland, and
Yeah.
there's
We'll
this
see it.
fascinating thing of the technology has gotten comparatively so easy to use, and it's
Mhm.
in your back pocket. You can edit your own music video on your phone.
I wouldn't do that, but you
Yeah,
could.
I would either, but people do. They'll just take clips and
Yeah.
flip them in There are applications, video editors on your phone, your iPhone 12 Max maybe. Uh,
Oh, right. I don't have one of those. Those are nice. Those
so
are nice.
for artists, there's an expectation that you're doing that at this point. Uh, and when I moved to Seattle, a lot of folks missed the last 10 years of what happened in the industry. They've been somewhat
Mhm.
isolated from all the
Mhm.
changes. And
Mhm.
it's a very live music scene, so they weren't much part of the tech. They weren't much part of the labels. They just thought that their particular music, no label had discovered them yet, and hadn't quite got the memo that the labels all died, and that's not how it works anymore. So I've been coaching bands up here about the new music business and what you have to do. Now it's
Yeah.
funny because once they get young enough, though, they've grown up making videos and pictures, and like it's just natural to them, as natural as riding
Yeah.
a bike was to us as a kid. Um, but there's this in between crowd who need to get over that hump, and I have to say to them, no one's going to come hand you $100,000 to make your album
No.
unless you've
Well,
done
and
the work.
either way, you'd have to pay that back anyways, and you don't want to do that.
That yes, I the first thing I said to I was on stage in front of him, and someone says, "Well, I just want to get signed so I can pay my health insurance." Blah blah. I said, "You do realize getting signed is a bank loan?" And the whole room fell silent. I'm like, they don't give
Yeah.
you that money. You just put it in your pocket and do what you want with it. They're expecting a
Yeah.
return on investment, and you still have to pay back the principal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough industry, and I've been trying to, just you just got to keep learning in order to try to figure out how to make it work and how to make a living doing it. So I've, everybody's has to just learn how to do all the things. To learn everything. It's a little overwhelming at times, but do our best and just keep on trying.
So, dude,
Do you know Sakura? Have you ever listened to Sakura, Caleb?
I've not. I just booked her for this summer. Yeah. I mean, I've heard her
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but I haven't like
Yeah.
dove it deep. I just booked her for this summer, so I haven't built her episode yet.
She has a song called Plain, and I sang backgrounds on it in the at the end of the song. There's like a gospel choir thing. I kind of helped produce like the how we recorded that, so it really sounds like a gospel choir. It's really insane. Um, but it's just repeating the words keep on trying. So whenever I say that, I'm like, yeah, keep on trying, keep on trying. Ah, but we'll make it.
It's you know, so I came at this from the opposite angle, in which because I was blocked musically for a long time in different ways. I just started doing more and more myself, and then got the recording studio side in there, started doing video editing, and I'm actually in a detangling mode, where over the last 10 years I'm doing less and less of it myself, which has been very, very strange. It's like a series of letting goes. And graces, the fact that I found people I could trust would deliver at first, and then people starting to offer to help, and it's a huge, huge honor. At the same time, even with that, you have to decide what face you're going to put on what you're doing. You have to decide what platforms it's going to be on, and there's always another platform to chase, right? It's like, oh, we're doing this fine. Okay, now how many followers do you have on your TikTok? You know, have you pumped up your TikTok? Well, nobody knows. My TikTok gets out there because it's through CD Baby, and therefore it's there. But how do I get it? Well, you've got to go up, create a false account under a child's name, and then make a TikTok using your niece. And then everybody will think, oh, the niece is so cute, but it's really you doing it. And then it'll take off. It's like this layer and layer of that stuff coming at you. When do you say it's enough? Like, okay, here's my boundaries.
I don't know. I actually just got a TikTok. I did like a couple weeks ago. I've posted a few times. It seems kind of fun actually. There's like some people. It's like once you go on there and you start liking things, they like push you into a certain lane on TikTok. So I need to start posting consistently there and just see what happens. It's sort of like it doesn't matter how many followers you have, they will show your thing to whoever if they think it's engaging enough.
That's
which
cool.
is cool because that's different than like Instagram and some of the other ones. I don't know. Just whatever. We'll see what happens.
Well, I put your link maybe in the comments on my page and post this. People go look in the comments after the show and go up and do some TikTok dancing and stuff to it. So NFTs, we just did, the band, one of the bands I'm consulting for just did an NFT. And, so of course that's the buzz of the month. Do you have an NFT, Ren?
I don't know what that means, but okay. I've like tried to understand what it is, but I don't know. Well, okay, cool, whatever. I don't know what it is.
To me, NFTs is where the line has drawn from. It's you say, oh, it's just another platform. It's like going from making CDs to being on iTunes, and from iTunes to being on social media, then from social media doing streaming, whatever. And so it's kind of positioning itself as that, but it's coming from this completely different headspace of like trading cards.
Yeah.
So if you understand stamp collecting and trading cards, and then you marry it with TikTok, then you have anyhow. But it's so I'm just always curious where the artist finally says, okay, I have this many hours a day. I'm going to produce this song. I'm editing the video. At what point do you draw a line and say, I'm going to put that one aside? Sounds like you put NFT aside. You're like, okay, for now, let's.
Well, I don't really. I mean, it sounds interesting. I have no idea. I haven't even investigated it really. I've just heard people say that it could be like the future of like musicians actually making money somehow, but I don't know. I'm like, okay. Whatever. I'm not really doing it for the money.
I'll give you my 30. I'll give you my 30 seconds on NFTs. So, folks, if you've heard this, it's gotten in the media and buzz. So now in the music community, you're just hearing it constantly. It's all everybody wants to hear because grandma and grandpa are asking their son, "Have you done an NFT for your band? You could make some money." So, to not get techie on you, it is if you're trading baseball cards and you don't do it in US dollars, so you translate to another currency and you're trading baseball cards in that other currency, and you sign a contract with someone that says, okay, you're going to buy this baseball card, but every time you resell the baseball card, I, as the original owner, still get like 10%. So if a
What's
songwriter,
the point of reselling? I don't. That's the thing I don't get. Is like when it comes to music, like
you're like, I buy the album, there's a track on the album, it's done, right?
yeah,
But because it's the trading card mentality, it's a collector. It's a collector who's collecting something. And the idea is you would do a song. You say you did a song and you recorded it, and only you only released it, and you said only 5 people can ever hear this song, or can buy this song in the first round, and it's going to be $100 for you to have that privilege to have a unreleased classic Rin track. And now it's a collector's item. So it's really for big bands that have like rabid fan base. That's really where it's coming from, right?
yeah,
If David Bowie was still alive, he would have an NFT of, something, and quite often it's an animated video with a little bit of the song or something. It's anything you can transfer that someone will then buy later and go, oh, well, I want every single Rin song ever produced, and I don't have this one. I'm willing to pay $1,000 for that. And then they resell their $100 purchase for $1,000. So that song goes up and up in value. So it becomes like a stock.
yeah. No, I
It's-
get.
yeah.
I get. Actually, you're explaining it well. It makes sense. But I
Like,
I create music for people to hear it, and I wouldn't really even want to create something that was like only available to whoever had access to pay all this money to do. Well, it just seems like it seems like it's sort of missing the point.
yeah.
me.
Well, it's where
Uh,
you're going from making music so people can enjoy your music to where you're producing a commodity.
A
Yeah.
derivative.
A derivative, yes. In fact, it is a derivative. It is an investment product. And yeah, so I think Patreon was the in between, you see, because you could set up tiers in Patreon, and like you give me $100 a month, and I will write you an exclusive song once a month, right? A lot of that was happening with Patreon, where people might say, "Oh, I'm going to give Ren $10 a month because I like her music," period, right? And then you'd say, "Well, if you want to move up to the $100 a month tier, I'll write you a completely song." So I think that was sort of the middle piece in this progression to music crossing over into this derivative market world.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that folks, that was your tech talk. Did you do Patreon?
No, I've thought about it a lot, but I haven't done it yet, or I don't know. Yeah, haven't done it yet.
No, nor have
Maybe
I. I
someday.
set up the account and it's just sitting there.
Yeah, I just I could do it, I guess. But honestly, last year when I did my big Winter Wonderland virtual edition thing, I just asked people. I just straight up asked people to send me money so that I could make that and produce that whole shindig, And I was able to get enough money to pay the whole band and pay a mixing engineer, sound engineer, pay for studio time, pay for videographer, mastering engineer. I paid for a live stream technician. Everybody made money, and me included, which is great. And in the end, we actually got to donate because like on the actual day of the live stream, I donated 50% of those donations that people made to the to my church's homeless ministry. So we donated like $900, so it was great. So I think I'm right now. I'm at a point where I'm small enough that the people that are my fans, I know them. I can literally go right to them and say, "Hey, I want to do this thing." Maybe hopefully someday that'll change and there'll be too many fans for me to even know them all. But right now it feels like I do know them all.
I would say, from what I've seen in the industry, the direct fan connection, and I would say like your event wasn't a Patreon patron of this event, because that'd be more like an annual kind of thing. But as an event, it becomes more like the Kickstarter model, which is, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Do you want to fund it? And that used to be traditionally what the record label do. Hey, we'll give you $100,000 to do your thing, and then hopefully it makes money and you have to pay us back. But here you can go directly, cut out all the middlemen and have that direct fan connection to that community and say, hey, I'd like to do this thing. Would you like to be a donator, a supporter of this event? And I love that directness of that. And no matter how big your fan base nowadays gets, that's really where it's at. Is all community. People want to be part of communities.
The kicker is that you can make a living in music if you have if you have some super fans. So I've got a couple super fans out there in the world who have been really supportive, and beyond just clicking on videos and stuff, they're financially supportive of my different ideas and things. If I could have 50 super fans, I would be great.
All right, folks, you've heard that. Go watch Ren's videos, her Christmas event, and if you have the capital and you like what she's doing, the goal is going to get Ren 50 super fans. That's the mission.
Yeah, we got to get some super fans. But and it's any fan is nice. I'm happy with anyone who likes my stuff, and it's just really nice. But there are definitely people. I'd say Tim is one of those people, but he's a super fan for lots of people. He's he's a really good music listener fan guy. Like, he's just a fan of lots of people and supports the scene. I mean, he really supports the scene, and especially during this time, he's been really supportive, which has been great. For a lot of people, I know he's just a great dude. Anyways, what can I say? Nothing bad about Tim. Love Tim. He's the best. And so there's just people out there that want to support music, who understand that it's really difficult to make a living in this, and to it's really difficult to realize big ideas, in this climate where it's really difficult to make money from the things you're doing. So it's just great. There's people out there that want to support music, and I want to find those people. I want to go out there and get them.
All right, folks. So here's your challenge. I'm going to change my mystic moment of the week, my idea on that, and I'm going to back Ren on that statement. Not only listen to Ren's stuff, if you like, or if you don't, if you know someone who might like, pass it on. The power of network and scaling up networks is incredible. So, when you're hearing stuff and you're hearing musician, this is a request from us to you, dear listener. Not only, do your thumbs up, thumbs down, I want to support this person, but think about your network, and is there anybody in that network who would like that artist, and share us with them. It makes a huge difference. I'm getting so excited. Well, let's play another track here, and then we'll be back and talk about supporting artists.
What are we playing? What are you playing?
Oh, you want to know in advance?
Yeah, I want to know. What are you doing?
This is The Last Time That He Left.
Okay, I wrote that one.
All right. Well, we're finally getting to Ren wrote versus Ren directed, produced, edited, sung, performed. And one final note on that, Red. You know what I found out? Fans don't care. You're giving good credit. You're giving the songwriters credit. But most people say, oh, that's a great so-and-so song. That's a great so-and-so song. And yes, Willie Nelson writes songs. There are plenty of other, Waylon Jennings did songs he didn't write. He did write as well. But and when that happens, the Waylon Jennings fans doesn't say, oh, that's a real Waylon Jennings song. And that one's, that's a cover tune.
You're right.
The fans go, oh my God, I love what Waylon did with House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah. Well, did you know that Willie Nelson didn't write Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain?
I did not.
He did not write that song.
So he
But
all,
you wouldn't know it. It sounds like a Willie Nelson song through and through.
and
But
you know, you as an artist, you make it your own. A little side note before we play the song is, Nine Inch Nails had a song called "Hurt,"
oh yeah,
and very intense song.
Mhm.
And Johnny Cash, there was a young kid who wanted to revitalize Johnny Cash's career. And Johnny Cash had just written off, said, I'm not coming back, period. And this kid rode him for like 4 years or something. No, I know what you need to do to have another career in music. And he's like, this kid's crazy. And he says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some contemporary songs for you to cover. And he famously
It's Rick
picked
Rubin.
Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus, and he picked Nine Inch Nails, goth industrial rock band,
Yeah.
picked a song from them and had Johnny sing it, and it is now in his catalog is the most listened to song of all times by Johnny, sang by Johnny Cash. And
Yeah.
Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails said after it came out and it took off, he said, I love what Johnny did. It is no longer my song.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
It's
certain
great.
point where the performer can transcend the songwriting and take it to a whole level that the songwriter never would have. So
Yeah.
that's my
Cool.
little. All right. So having said that, here is one Ren wrote.
First time that he left her, he was feeling pretty bad, 'cause he knew what he had lost, and he missed what they had. But every time he leaves, he finds a way to leave again. He's running round in circles, she can't keep him out of it. He wanted to be useful, but kept giving up his place, and every heart that loved him, he just threw it in their face. The next time that he left, she didn't try to act surprised. He'd been creeping towards the door since the day he had arrived. He can't stay still, he'll leave it all behind. For one sip at the bottle, he'll take whiskey, beer, or wine. He wants to be a good man, but he just can't get it right. He's sleeping in the morning and staying up all night. But in a couple years, he may be doing pretty well. Then he'll turn back to the bottle and go straight back down to hell. He can't stay still, he'll leave it all behind. For one sip at the bottle, he'll take whiskey, beer, or wine. Last time that he left her, she was showing him the door. Please take your shit and leave. I don't need you anymore. You left me for the last time and you won't leave me again. Next time he comes a knocking, there'll be no fool to let him in. Next time he comes a knocking, there'll be no fool to let him in.
That was The Last Time He Left by Ren Geisick.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if I didn't know and I went through this playlist and said, which ones did Ren write? I would think that was a Patsy Cline song.
I told you the songs I write come out as country songs.
Got it. So the ones that are more country are more likely to have been written by you.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Mom, did you
Yep.
like that song? That sounded right up your alley. And we're talking about music. We're talking about business. Um, I'm going to jump ahead to the mystic moment, and then we'll be right back.
Sure.
Hey, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Sunday Live this week. Here's your mystic moment. Open your voice. That's the theme for this week. As you know, each week I give listeners challenges to take what you've heard in this week's episode and apply them to your own life. And I think Ren's vocal style just speaks volumes about opening your voice. And there's this thing called release. When you go up to high notes where you don't actually try to punch them or stamp on them, you're never going to achieve them if you force them. What you actually do is you let go and the voice goes there. And so it's contradictory when you first time you feel it in your body, actually, at least for me, felt like an out-of-body experience. Like, how are these sounds coming out? Because they're resonating up in your skull and doing different things. It's not just this straightforward push. So one of the secrets to opening up your voice is letting go and not striving, not trying to achieve the thing you're trying to achieve, but to actually let go of the thing you're trying to achieve. And amazingly, it'll suddenly manifest itself. So that's your trick for this week, is to go out there in your lives and find some barrier or block that you've been wrestling on like a dog chewing on an old bone. Stop chewing, put the bone down, back away. You're more likely to grab it. All right. So, again, thank you for watching and all your support. We're now over a year into the show. This is something like episode 50-something. I never thought in my wildest dreams we would be still doing the show. And everybody who shows up and watches and places words in the comments, you are an inspiration to me and to make more episodes and bring more artists to you every week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have any questions for Ren, pop it up here. We're going to go into the after party where you can ask your questions of her and, find out a bit more about her and, something I haven't thought of. All right, cool. All right, you are now in the after party. How this works is we loosen our ties, unbutton our top button on our shirt, get more casual, less business, less, okay, I'm a pop star, here's my videos. And so in this segment, you're going to learn some cooking with Ren.
Oh.
And so, yeah, we're going to show the full spectrum of the Ren experience. So, have you always cooked, or was this just like a one-off thing, or tell us the story?
Well, so I made the cooking video for my Winter Wonderland extravaganza that I did during COVID. And I just felt like, having, an over an hour of only music content without anything to break it up wouldn't be as good. And my family every year at Christmas makes this thing called nut coils, and they're famous and they're amazing. They're just the best. And I have taken on the torch of being the one to make the nut coils, the baker extraordinaire. So it's the only thing. I mean, I've thought about making another cooking video because people really liked the nut coil video. And so I thought, like, okay, what would I do? Like, what else would I make? But that's kind of the most interesting thing that I know how to make. I mean, I know how to make a really great chocolate chip cookie and like other things that everyone knows how to make, but nut coils are very specific. They're not well known, like, to people. I mean, they're kind of like cinnamon rolls, but fancier. But yeah, they're like the fanciest thing I know how to make. So it might be the only cooking video I ever make, but who knows?
All right, folks, here it is, how to make nut coils.
Hello! Now I'm going to teach you how to make nut coils. Grandma Geisick was the one who started making these, and my mom adapted the recipe for some sweeter taste buds. And this is nut coils. These are famous, okay? So please make them at home, enjoy them. Let's pass the tradition along. These are nut coils. Okay, so we're gonna start out with a fourth a cup of sugar, which I'm being very cooking show-esque here. I already measured it. 1/4 cup of oil, which I also already measured. Okay, so I have here a cup of lukewarm milk and 1/2 cup of water, and I combined them and they're both like warm. And that's because we don't want to kill the yeast. And now we got an egg, just one lowly egg. Put that guy in. Score! All right, we're gonna whisk this guy up. And since I have the fast-acting yeast, I'm gonna put 1 cup of the flour in now, and then put the yeast on top of it, and then mix it all in. And then I have 2 and possibly 3/4 left of flour. It's sort of a guessing game, but do your best. Here we go. Every time I make this, I'm hoping that it will rise. I don't know why I'm nervous. Every year I make this and I think, will it rise? Did I kill the yeast? I'm always worried. But usually it turns out. And I'm gonna put the salt in right now too. This is a teaspoon of salt. So I got that 1/3 cup of flour in here. It's still pretty wet, as you can see. I have room to put in like 3/4 more cups of flour, but I'm gonna start out with 1/4 cup and see how we go. This is the sort of guessing game. The guessing game of making this dough. This is a pretty typical dough. It's like if you make like sticky buns or something, it's sort of the same thing, I think. I don't know. It's nut coil dough. That's what it is. So we've got our dough here, and it's looking pretty good, although still real sticky, not real manageable. This is why it's messy. Put a little bit more flour in, maybe 1/4 cup. And then we just flour the heck out of our work surface here. This is why you don't want to put too much flour in the dough itself, because you end up with a lot of flour extra from working with it. Okay. So we just sort of gently scrape it out of here and put it on there. Kind of do one of these. Okay. Yeah. We'll let this little dough rest. Just take a little thing and cover it up. 10 minutes. And then the kneading, okay? Let's wait. All right, we're back. It's been 10 minutes and now our dough has rested. And now we're gonna do, I do a really weird way of kneading this dough. And I'm just gonna do it the way that I do it, which is super messy. And you're gonna see. Okay, so I just take it up. Now I kind of get this flour that I have on the table into the dough because I probably need it. And then I just do this. I know this is like so gross, but I just let it get all over my fingers. And then you knead for at least 10 minutes until the dough is sort of smooth and elastic, as they say. So yeah, I'll keep doing this and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've been doing this a long time, and I'm getting really tired of it. I think it's been about 10 minutes. And so the next thing is you put it in a bowl that is already greased, which I did earlier. So I've got this white bowl over here. I've got to get this off my fingers. Don't worry, I washed my hands. All right, I'm gonna just cover this up again, a little thing, and let it prove, as they say on the Great British Baking Show. All right, I'll be back at you with the next part a little later. Enjoy Ren's Winter Wonderland! Woohoo! Hello everyone, we're back with another baking segment. These are nut coils we're making, and we've waited, and now we have our dough, and I think it's risen quite nicely. Yes. So I'm just gonna pour out some flour on the work surface here and get our dough going. Okay, so we're gonna get our dough out. Rolling it into a big old rectangle. Now once you've done this part, you're gonna take a stick of butter, put it in the microwave, and melt a stick of butter. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need a cup of sugar with 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, but really that's also a guessing game. Just make cinnamon sugar. And then you're gonna take at least a cup of walnuts or pecans, depending on your preference. I chose walnuts for today. And you're gonna need all those things. This looks pretty good to me. Yes. Okay, so now we're gonna take that melted butter that we have here, and we're gonna pour it over the dough. So my grandma Geisick was the one who was making these to start with, and when she first made them, and the original way to make them is just with the butter and the walnuts, and you don't add the cinnamon sugar. So if you want something a little bit more savory, then you do that. But who doesn't like a sweet, nutty cinnamon roll thing? I like to do the cinnamon sugar next because it kind of melts into the butter, and then we just sort of sprinkle it. Make sure you get the edges because you want all this and all the, you haven't seen yet how we roll up the nut coils, but it's a whole thing, and you're gonna want to make sure that you have cinnamon and butter in all the places. Now you take your walnuts and you sprinkle those on everywhere. Next part is you have to roll the nuts into the dough. Okay, so now we're gonna fold it into thirds, okay? So I'm gonna take the bottom half here, very gently and gingerly. I'm gonna fold it sort of like an envelope, kind of, into thirds, or like a paper that you put in an envelope. Okay, gently, gently. And woohoo, here we go. And now you take the front half here and fold it over. Gentle like. Now we get our knife and we cut this long sheet of dough we have now that has encased our walnuts and sugar and butter. And we cut it into 1-inch slices. I've greased up 2 pans. I'm really lucky because my mom has 2 of these pans. One was my Grandma Geisick's and one was my Grandma Ruby's. And these are the best nut coil making pans. I think they're just aluminum, really old pans. Okay, this is the complicated bit. You're gonna take your little thing of dough here, put one side on the table, take the other side with your hand and twist it, and while you're twisting it, move it around so it kind of coils under and makes like a little guy. All right, let's try it again. It's gonna take a couple tries on this one. So one side stays on the table, other side you twist, while moving it around, and then you tuck the end underneath. This one turns out better. That one looks a little nicer, I think. Okay, keep on going. I've got one pan done here, see? And I'm gonna put all these little bits that got lost little bits of sugary walnuts. I just kind of stick them on top. This one's like huge. That's way too big. All right, I'll be back in a little bit to show you the results. Woo! Okay, I have my little nut coil here, and the last bit is that you have to make a glaze. So you use powdered sugar and half and half, or heavy whipping cream if you have it. Just milk is fine too. And just kind of put a little bit in. Mix it up, and you want it to be kind of thick. And then we'll put like a little tiny bit of vanilla in too. Just a tiny dash. It could be a little thicker than that, but this is all right. Okay, now, just take some of that glaze and just kind of generously give it, put it on your nut coil there. You're ready to eat it. Eat them hot. Woo! Cheers!
That was How to Make Nut Coils by Ren Geisick. A family classic brought into the modern era, yet with the tradition of the old pans. And the fans have a question about this. This was made for your winter extravaganza, but fans are concerned that this is available on YouTube. They're watching it year round. Would Ruby approve of making nut coils in the summer?
Well, so this was a Grandma Geisick recipe, so it's the other side of the family, Millie. But Ruby and Millie would both agree it is fine to eat nut coils whenever you want. We only eat them at Christmas because if once you start eating them, it's difficult to stop. So it's good to just limit it to one season.
I gained 5 pounds just watching that video.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. They're the best.
My diet plans are now ruined. I'm so showing this video to my wife, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, those look really good. You should do those."
They're really good. They are really, really good. And you have to eat them fresh out the oven. If you like have a party, not that you're gonna have a party right now, but if in the future you ever had a party again, I don't know, then you would want to like put them in the oven while the party is happening, and then like glaze them and have people eat them like really fresh. That's the key.
I'm a believer. Actually, Joe, you know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Nevada Ren Fair. The smell of the cinnamon roll guy.
The churros.
Oh no, not the churros. No. Actual cinnamon roll, and they don't have the shape of the coils, but the process. This guy would lay out. You'd see him just lay out and be like sugar, cinnamon. But anyhow.
Absolutely, yes. Especially at Dickens Fair, when the Charles Dickens Christmas Fair, it's held inside the Cow Palace, and basically because it's in a massive building, all the wonderful cooking smells, be they roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, fish and chips, churros, cinnamon buns, just they all waft together and they smell so delectable. And Jenny Craig just goes right out the window at that point.
Yeah.
That's very visual. Oh, we got a question here for you, Ren. Tim wants to know. He thinks you should next year. He's not going to let you not do another Winter Wonderland. I'm just saying.
Well, so I don't know if you know this, Caleb, but my Winter Wonderland show has that. Last year would have been the 6th annual in-person Winter Wonderland, but obviously you couldn't do in person. So I do the show, like a big show at City Lights Theater, like in person with a full band and the whole thing. And there's like 100-person theater, and I do 2 nights, and it sells out every time, and it has for years. I've done it for years. So this was the show that I did, like the live version was like replacing the Winter Wonderland in-person show.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you've been doing this for years, and last year you got funds and did a production so that the
Yeah.
tradition could be continued during COVID. So
exactly.
we are just waiting for the return of the live session, and
Yeah.
then you'll have the concession table, and
Well,
you'll have the
apparently
nut
Tim wants
coils.
confession. Well, I don't know. That would be a lot of work. That'd be a lot of work. But you know what we could do? I'm trying to think of like how the Winter Wonderland show can happen next year. Because I don't know, honestly. Like, I'm not sure if 100-person theater will be happening even in December. I just don't know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But maybe the better play is to have a bunch of backyard, or like, especially in California, we could do it like backyard concerts for very small groups. And then I could send the nut coil making video to the host and say, you should make this for the show.
Then have
I don't
everybody
know.
get on their phones or whatever, or to Zoom, like have a Zoom channel going,
Yeah.
and have everybody
Right.
join on Zoom, and they all eat the
Yeah.
nut coil at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But I don't know. I do think that like house concerts and like smaller backyard concerts could potentially come back. And yeah, I mean in December obviously you got the risk of like rain, but the weather here is pretty good always, and you can just bundle up. So I don't know. We may be able to do like some outdoor like backyard kind of Winter Wonderland series of concerts. I don't know, Tim. What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea? What does Tim think? But yeah,
You've heard it
that's-
first here on Sunday Live, an exclusive with Rin Geisick about her new plans for Winter Wonderland in a post-COVID universe.
we'll see. We'll see what's possible. It's interesting to think about, like, I don't, what's it going to be like this summer? Are people going to start, like, I'm seeing some people doing gigs and stuff, and things are starting to open up a little bit. It's like, what are people going to be comfortable with? We'll see.
Yeah, it's
We will see.
it's something that you just have to keep your ear to the ground,
Mhm.
and roll with over time. And
Yeah.
I get folks asking me all the time, when do you think this is going to be over? And it's like, and I'm in the balanced breakfast group, and so we regularly are talking about trends and what's going on, and
Mhm.
and I think the general feeling is, this is a take it as it comes thing,
Yeah.
and there will be a hybrid space of live and online.
Yeah.
So before we just had people doing things online, people doing things live, and a lot of times they didn't cross over each other. And everybody's been forced into the same online room, but what's going to happen is there's going to be expansion of that and a hybrid
Yeah. I
hybridization.
think you're right. That makes sense.
And for more artists, you and I were already there, but like for artists that didn't have that, they now have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can build an international audience. This is another thing that's come out. Balanced Breakfast used to be live. We actually had breakfast and coffee and hung out, and also with Seattle bands here, everybody was live and doing things in their scenes and whatnot. And people are starting to realize, wait a minute, I'm big in Kazakhstan. Who knew? So I think that will continue.
Definitely. I have a couple people who have been tuning, when I advertise the live show, that will tune in from further away, and they're happy because, they wouldn't have been able to see a show of mine if I was only doing them, in person. So there's a few people in LA and a couple people on the East Coast and stuff who've been tuning in and excited to get to see something. So I plan to try to keep up some live shows, and I'm actually going to restart my Sunday series of live shows that I've been doing, or that I was doing before. Restart that, get it going again now that the weather's nice.
And I don't know if you looked in the comments, but you just got hired.
Yes. Yay, Tim.
Tim,
100%. Let's do it.
Well, let's show another video here. This is
Okay.
Have You Ever Been Lonely?
Okay, cool.
Have you ever been blue? Have you ever loved someone just as I love you? Can't you see that I'm sorry for each mistake that I've made? Can't you see I've changed, dear? Can't you see I've paid? Be a little forgiving. Take me back in your arms. How can I go on living now that we're apart? If you knew what I'd been through, then you know why I ask you. Have you ever been lonely? Have you ever been blue? Be a little forgiving. Take me back in your arms. How can I go on living now that we're apart? If you knew what I've been through, then you know why I ask you. Have you ever been lonely? Have you ever been blue?
I thought that video was a great example of what we're talking about. Like, I don't know if that was done during COVID, but
It was definitely done during COVID.
it's like there's a COVID video style that's I've noticed has developed, and it's like a video that otherwise you wouldn't have produced.
Yeah.
And a lot of this collaborative videos, I've seen famous people do this over the years, but I never saw it become bigger than just the occasional fluke. And I think that's just a great example of where, like, I'm caged up, I can't go out, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop creating. And and in fact, this has allowed me to clone my guitarist, and so that now we have twins.
Yeah. I was really excited when he sent me his part because I didn't actually know that he was going to do both acoustic and electric. And he just sent me his stuff and I was like, oh, great. This is awesome. So that's Chris Motter on guitar. He is my favorite country sounding guitar player. But he actually just during COVID moved down to LA. So we have to have a remote musical experiences, or I have to get him up here, or I have to go down there. So he's really great.
Yeah, I'm like watching his finger work, and I'm like, how's that humanly possible?
He's really great, and he's really great at country style. He's just so good. He's great.
I mean, it's one I dabble here in the studio with the guitar, like some bit, open chords. Tim will tell me, try this sus thing I found, right? And then you see a player like that who's just moving in this matrix on the neck, and like, oh God, oh my goodness, that's incredible. And then he does these slides and bends, and oh, geez, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is trained originally in jazz as well. He just likes country music, and so he spent some time focusing on that style because sometimes jazz players have a hard time with country, even though it's more simple, but you have to really stick within the box with country soloing and styling. It has to be really I don't know, triads. Like it just has to be more simple than when you're doing jazz. And if you go really far outside of that and you're not melodic about it, it doesn't really work. So Chris really has it down. He sounds great.
And I'm sure those jazz chops help, like
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah, of
to add a
course.
little flair in there.
Mhm. Mhm.
To take a simple thing and make it nut coils. Oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
Nut coils. To add that spice and that flavoring in there. And by the way, that's country in my mom's ear. So she's just saying
Good.
it's
I'm
bringing
glad.
back old memories. That was like the sweet spot
I'm
of country.
glad. I'm glad. I'm
Yeah,
glad that's the Patsy Cline influence there.
and I'm not like, I'm very flexible and open, but I'm sorry, the stuff I'm hearing that's called country, I'm like, this is pop music. I mean, I love pop music. I
Right, right, right,
grew up
right.
on ABBA, and the Beatles,
Yeah.
and so,
No,
but
today's pop
it's,
country is not my thing.
I'm like, okay, pop hip hop with cowboy hats. Okay, that's a thing, and that's cool, and I could get
Yeah.
into that, but to call it country is odd.
Yeah, I don't really get it, but to each their own, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
So, classic Americana, Ren Geisick.
Well, I think Americana implies classic,
Yeah,
like in a way.
within its name.
Yeah, because Americana is like jazz, blues, you know,
It's a
jazz, blues, soul.
foundational.
It's like American music.
Traditional.
Yeah,
Mm.
kind of. Yeah,
Um,
roots music. Kind of.
have you seen the movie Rumble? It's a documentary.
Mm-mm. No.
You should totally watch it. So, oh my goodness. So the song Rumble, dun dun dun. It was the first use of distorted guitar. And
Link Ray.
what,
Okay.
what was that again?
Link Ray was a rockabilly artist. Link Ray. He only died just a very few years ago.
So he did this song. It's instrumental, maybe about 5 minutes long, and it was banned on radio because it was considered too threatening. This is what, 1952, somewhere around there?
Mm-hmm.
57?
Late 50s.
Okay. It's a documentary on him and that song and the roots of Americana. And it one of the things that's not talked about a lot in music that comes out in this documentary is that African American men were brought over, but women were not. And Native
Okay.
American men were a threat to the U.S. government, so they were shipped out. So you had Native American women and African American men available to marry. And that a lot of these strains actually come from Native music. And that the drums on the Link Ray track, it's actually Cherokee. And you hear all these Native American styles because the American psyche tends to focus on plains, right? Native Americans who lived on the plains. Well, that wasn't, there were a lot of different people in North America who lived in cabins, houses, blah, 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 blah. And that gets muddied because people were forced out of, say, the South into the plains who had no historical background there. And they've talked about their musical traditions and their the songs that have been passed on. And you start hearing blues, country, folk, and you're like, interesting. And how Americana is a fusion of Native American, African American, and European Americans coming together and synthesizing these new musics that didn't happen elsewhere. Obviously, that's gross oversimplification, but fantastic documentary and Rumble about Link Ray and all that.
Cool. Nice. Yeah.
And
That's cool.
I hear that in the classic country. I think that's the connection there.
Yeah.
That song was single-handedly responsible for Pete Townsend being inspired to play guitar, to learn and play guitar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm sure. The first time I heard the Link Ray version, I was like, "Is this Adam Ant?" Marco Perrone of Adam and the Ants would play that style. And that was the first time I heard that style. And it's like, oh, no, it's not Marco. It goes back to the 50s. And this synthesis that happened in the South. And I don't know if it's true, but in the documentary, they show him walking up to an amp and taking a screwdriver and punching the cone. That was a part of the sound, was to have distorted sound and not just clean sound. I hear a lot of that in country.
This goes. This proves more and more that the best recording artists, the best musicians, the most notable ones, they know where to go for inspiration. Everybody does the same thing. They look back. They look back into the historical stuff. It could be old timey. It could be Link Ray, but those that is the wellspring for inspiration.
Yeah.
Love that. I know we're getting late here, but I would love to still do 2 more videos. I have Angel Flying, and Oh Ruby. Do you have time for us to play those, Ren?
Could we? I gotta eat dinner here soon. I'm
okay.
starving.
We could show that in your absence and do your wrap up.
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I would appreciate it. I'll just say something about Oh Ruby, since that is one I wrote, and I wrote that about my grandma from Oklahoma, and that's my favorite song. So I think are you playing the version with me and Will Brom, or?
I honestly don't know. I put it in the playlist.
Me and a guitar player?
I don't recall.
You don't remember?
No, wait. It was a music video. No, it was a music video. It had photos of the family.
Okay. I think it's the video of me and Will Brom, because there are photos in that.
Okay.
Video. Yeah. Okay. That's one of my favorite songs, and I'm glad you're playing it.
Should I play it now and switch the order?
No, it's okay. I trust you to take it from here.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody
just
say hi to Ren, and Ren's going to get food now.
Yeah.
And we are notorious for going over in this show. I had a friend from England. He's like, the sun's rising now. I really need to go.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It was great getting to meet you and get to know you. And
thank you. Yes.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Joe.
And we're looking forward to what Winter Wonderland will be this year.
Yes, me too. Me too. Well, have a good one.
Stay safe out there, Ren.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody, we're going to play 2 more videos by Ren, and this one is Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground.
If you would not have fallen, then I would not have found you. Angel flying too close to the ground. So I patched up your broken wings and hung around a while, trying to keep your spirits up and your fever down. I knew someday that you would fly away, 'cause love's the greatest healer to be found. So leave me if you need to. I will still remember. Angel flying too close to the ground. Just 23, leaving home. The world is big, she's ready to roam. Won't go home too cold. She'll send a picture to let her know how she's doing in California. What's she doing in California? Oh, Ruby, say goodbye. Oh, Ruby, it's time to fly. Oh, Ruby. Oh, Ruby. A secretary on the base, a woman strong and full of grace. She made her home in Monterey. Met a man, he was just a boy, and overwhelmed her with his joy. But he had a secret pain. Oh, Ruby, where's your home? Oh, Ruby, on your own. Oh, Ruby. Oh, Ruby. With a family in Anchor's Deep, husband she's not meant to keep. She won't roam the way she planned. But with a smile to light the room, she'll stand tall despite the gloom, and show the world she'll never fall. Oh, Ruby. Oh, Ruby. Oh, Ruby. Oh, Ruby.
That was Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground, covered by Ren Geisick. And that was Oh Ruby, an original by Ren. Ren has had to run to get some food. She's been with us since about 4:15, and so got to say bye. Wanted to show the family song and also that reference to Oklahoma. We didn't get to drill down on that because my mom's family is originally from Oklahoma, and but check out her stuff online. Great, yeah. I think Tim said it all in the chat. Just a great person with a lot of heart and a lot of talent, and I'm so thankful that she agreed to be on Sunday Live. Hey, Joe.
Yes.
As usual, I say the last word goes to you.
Well, I love Ren Giesick's work because it doesn't fall into the trappings of traditional marketing country western. It harkens back to a time where country western and folk music and Americana music meant something, and the overlap you would see was that of quality and of storytelling and of a mood. She conveys that in her voice. She conveys that with the soulfulness with which she sings, and it's something that I hear today. I see in the people keeping the home fires burning, keeping the torch lit. for this type of music, this era of music. There's a couple of radio stations that are online, one in Oregon, one in Nevada City, that we listen to at work that play a lot of this type of music. It's just like the missing link between Patsy Cline and John Prine. Sometimes you see it's like a little bit of Prairie Home Companion, a little bit of Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and a little bit of Twin Peaks. It's fantastic, and it's multidimensional, and it's something that we haven't heard for a while, except in outlier radio stations and webcasts. So she's on a crusade here artistically, and I hope she keeps going. I hope we hear a lot more of her. She needs to be heard, and we need to hear her.
All right, folks, check out her website. Look her up. It's REN, last name GEISICK. Bunch of videos on YouTube. Check out her channel. And hey, I'm going to say it. If you can support artists in this time, please do. A lot of folks, some folks can't, have other revenue streams coming in, but the whole industry, if it wasn't already decimated by streaming, it was relying on live performance. That was the backup plan, and the B plan went out of the window last year. So if you can keep folks creating and making great music, please do so. Thank you so much, Joe. Appreciate your insights every week. And in fact, I'm going to announce on the show right now that I'm going to create a new title screen for the show, and it's going to be called The Final Word with Joe Price. I think we've been dating long enough. It's time to make it formal.
Sure. You're a tough act to follow, so I'll see what I could do.
Oh, geez. I'd say we're complimentary.
You can put it that way, sure.
I got my style, you got your style. You put the two styles together, it makes a show.
Hey, you inflate the tires, I'll smooth out the road. We'll see what we could do.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Thank you again for watching another week's episode of Sunday Live. Tune in next week. We're going to have Ken Newman back on. He's got a bunch of new videos and magic acts to share with you. And looking forward to seeing those and seeing all your faces. Stay safe out there. Get protected however you can. And we'd like to have you come back and watch some more music with us. So, ciao. Until then, if you'd like to find out any more information about my music and whatnot, you can follow me on Caleb Duart on Facebook. And I have a page for my Caleb music, my Audie Terrace music, and Queer Blue music, all on Facebook, also Bandcamp, also YouTube. Look forward to, seeing your comments, especially on the new Caleb stuff, on the acoustic stuff. It's more in the direction of Ren's work than my earlier work, and I'm interested in seeing what people think about that and which direction I should take. I've always been taking multiple directions with my music, but I feel like there's a synthesis starting to happen, and I love your insights on which direction I should go. Again, thank you for watching.